Live Tuesday. I'm your host, Rome. This is the Rome Show podcast, news updates with my friend Len Besthoff. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Rome. Just trying to straighten this shot for you. That's most a very non-professional way, but I'm good. I mean, how can you not be? We're recording on a day when the weather is very atypical for Connecticut in March, on March 10th. I think that the high today is forecast to be close to 70. It hit
Nice.
70 yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. I know you were saying last week that you wanted some of this. So did you get out and walk?
I did a little bit. I'm gonna get out some more when it heats up a little bit more.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I
How
got out
about
right
you?
at 6. Yeah. I got out right at 6 yesterday and just got outside on the back deck with the dogs and all that stuff, just trying to enjoy this weather for the few quick moments that we have it. Um, I'm going to give you, I am not a meteorologist, but I can tell you that in the long, long range, I, I hate to even say it, but on St. Patrick's Day, it's possible we may be getting some winter weather. And again, I am not a meteorologist. I don't pretend like I am, but I hear the rumblings in our newsroom. So, if that's one of the benefits that your viewers and listeners have, that they get a little inside baseball from me on what's going on weather-wise in the NBC Connecticut newsroom, why not? So there's some discussion about it. This time of the year is funny though, Rome, because the weather, I mean, my lord, today it's going to be almost 70 degrees, so stuff melts really quick if it even does accumulate. So let's see. But either way, let's enjoy today. Okay. Today is beautiful. Tomorrow is cloudy, but it's going to be nice. But we've had a nice stretch of days here. This is without question what we in New England call fake spring. This is not real. Don't fool yourself that this is how it's going to go right through till Memorial Day, because it won't. But I don't know about you, man, but I am thankful that we're moving in the right direction. We're going to get more warm days than cold as we go forward, right?
Right. Still gotta wear hoodies and stuff because it's how you get sick too.
Yeah, but you don't have to put the hoodie on. You don't have to put the
Right.
hood on. Or, if I'm wearing my down jacket, it's unzipped. And, I'm just ready to zip up if it gets, a little nasty. But man, I'll tell you, here in northern Connecticut, central Connecticut, we have been through it this winter. And I think as much as I love snow and I love skiing and all that stuff, we've gotten our fill this year. And I think it's time to move on and let the people who like the spring and the summer enjoy that. So here we go. Bye bye, father or mother winter, whatever it is. I guess we got about 10 days to go.
Yeah, that'll be fast too. No more winter.
Yeah, it's we're as we like to say, we're on the back nine. So we'll make it. We'll make it. As far as the fun stuff, there's so much. Uh, it was really hard for me, Rome, to make a choice on sports because my goodness, I'll tell you the ones I didn't do. I didn't talk about college basketball. I didn't talk about baseball. I'll get to it in a minute, but oh my gosh, there's just so much going on right now. It's crazy. It's still the aftermath of the Olympics. You got the Paralympics going on right now in Cortina. So just so much. But I'm going to defer to you. I'll let you go first with the fun stuff. What you got?
So we could start off with sports. I gotta go with the New York Knicks. They lost the last game, but I feel like they should have a somewhat good season.
I hope you're right. I grew up a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Anybody in particular you like on the Knicks or their style of play?
I'm trying to find my favorite players on the team.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm old school. I like the Patrick Ewing days.
yeah, I remember those. These days, they got, is it Jalen Brunson? Is he one of the players? Or am
I
I
think so.
getting in? Yeah, I'm not a huge hoops guy, and NBA on NBC. So I guess I'll be getting better at it. Um, but I know that what was the big news in the last week actually wasn't with the Knicks, it was with the Celtics, right? Didn't they get one of their star guys back who tore his Achilles like in the playoffs in 2024? And the
Yeah,
Celtics are in second. So, I mean, look, I love the days in the 80s when it was the Knicks and the Celtics and the Sixers, and it was really physical and it was crazy. Those were fun basketball years between all that and then Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson. It was just a magical time for NBA basketball. It was. It really was.
yeah. Those are the good times.
Yeah. And I mean, look, right now is great. I'll admit I got too many other sports. I'll segue into my sports. My sports is the NFL draft. It really is fascinating when you watch it because unlike not NFL draft, excuse me, I am so sorry. My sports entry is NFL free agency. What happens is, people, their contracts are up with their team, and the NFL has a very short period of time, 2 or 3 days, where everyone can sign or re-sign or get cut or whatever. And so there's all kinds of moves going on, and it really doesn't matter what team that you follow, Rome. Your team probably made some big transactions, and of course, my team, New York Giants. Um, we made a bunch of big moves, and hopefully, they're going to be good.
Yeah, there's always like tradings going on and stuff like that.
hmm hmm Trade, you're trading for draft picks, you're trading for players. I think the New York Jets may have done a trade here. I can't keep track. There's just so much going on. But again, it's going on for another day or two. Um, but it's something that we're going to be, measuring the fallout of this for weeks, in terms of who went where and, where are they beefed up now and where are these NFL teams still dealing with shortcomings. And right after free agency comes the NFL draft next month. And so it's going to get all crazy again. And then it'll quiet down. We'll have baseball and then football training camp in June and July. And we're on our way. But I'm getting way ahead of ourselves. I'm enjoying the moment right now. The other thing is, oh my gosh, Rome. I should mention this because, got to get on with my news day. But my goodness, March Madness is coming up.
Right around the corner.
The best. The best. I lived in parts of the country where college basketball reigns supreme. Basically, I lived down in the Triangle in North Carolina. And so you had NC State, Duke, and Carolina all within 20 minutes of each other. And it was just basketball, college basketball heaven, still is. And it just gets you into it. And even when I lived in Western Virginia, people were really behind Virginia Tech, go Hokies, and the Virginia Cavaliers, University of Virginia, would occasionally have good teams as well. Not occasionally, quite a bit actually. So, just a hotbed of basketball. Again, going off on tangent, but other fun stuff. What you got, Rome?
Well, what I've been eating, it's not the healthiest, but my food dish of the week is Chinese chicken wings, which is pork fried rice.
I love pork fried rice. It's naughty. It is. It is. But here's the thing. I don't know about you, but I eat healthy at least 5 days a week. And so if I'm gonna healthily, to use proper English, um, you gotta live, right? I mean,
Right.
so porkfriedricebomb.com. You get my vote
Oh,
there. And then Chinese chicken wings. What's the difference there? I've never had Chinese chicken wings.
I think it's just like fried chicken wings. I don't think they season them, but they're like kind of sweet to me.
Hmm. All right. Well, Mrs. B and I always love getting a little Chinese, and I'm so lame. I'm gonna give a confession here. I always get the same thing. I always get. I love it though. I always get cashew chicken. I like it spicy, super spicy. And the funny story on that one is that we were living, like I said, in Roanoke, Virginia for 6 years back in the 90s. And it's a mountain town and it's rural and it only has like, a few 100,000 people in the metro. So there was only one really good Chinese food place. Got my cashew chicken, extra spicy like I like it. Got salmonella. I was so sick. I
Oh
lost,
boy.
oh yeah, I lost like 10 pounds. And honestly, Rome, I've never gained it back. I used to be like in the 170s, pushing 180. Now, I'm lucky if I'm getting, near 170. Um, but anyway, enough about my weight. Um, I got so sick on cashew chicken. What do you think I did a month later when Mrs. B and I went
You
right
had some
back,
cashew
same
chicken?
restaurant, same dish. Would you do that?
I don't know.
Mm.
Was it bad
My,
when you got sick? Painful?
yeah, and I was just, you're in the bathroom a lot. Salmonella is nasty. I lost a lot of weight. And you get migraines, which is, whew, it's tough stuff.
And you went and
Yeah.
got it a month later?
Well, yeah, I got cashew chicken from the same place. I'm not going to name it. I think they're still there. They're lovely people, and I mean, things happen. I mean, it was one time. It's not like I kept going there and getting sick, so I'm not gonna. But yeah, cashew chicken. That's my jam.
I
Oh,
gotta
I
try.
did. Yeah, you do. I didn't do my food, and this I'm gonna. I've already talked football and the Giants and the Knicks, so I'm showing my northern New Jersey here, and here's another. Philly cheesesteak. Oh, I love a good Philly cheesesteak. But that's, coming from the Jers, that's it's almost like it's in your DNA. And I like a Philly cheesesteak with everything on peppers, onions, even tomatoes. Just throw it all in there. Olives, provolone, of course. Some people, if you get down to Philly, they'll tell me I'm not real, that you got to put the cheese whiz on it and all this other stuff. But like Philly, to be fair, Philly is the cheesesteak capital of America. New Jersey, we can do it in the Jers. And even up here in Connecticut, you can get one and they're okay. So Philly cheesesteak was mine.
Good pick. Those are good.
Yeah, solid choice. I want one right now.
Yeah. Those are real good.
Yeah.
So my movie of the week is called AM Radio, and it's starring Omar Gooding, big actor. And it's just about like being a radio host in the AM radio world. Pretty good movie.
I think I might want to see that.
Yeah,
Because I
pretty
did
good.
some radio early in my career, and I mean I'm doing it right now. I'm on the radio once a month actually, on WDRC AM. I go on there and I talk about our NBC Connecticut Investigate stories. So how'd you like the movie?
It's real good. It shows like the personal life, the radio life, shows like the style of the life. Um, the next one I'm gonna watch he has is actually a news one where he's a newscaster.
Oh wow.
So I'll talk
Yeah,
about
send me
that.
the link.
Talk about that. Okay.
Send me the link on info to that. You know what life as a newscaster's like. You
Yeah.
talk to me.
I love
Mm.
shows like that. They have like a couple TV shows and movies. Yeah.
It's like a series.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's like my wife likes books like that like tell a history of a family, and there might be, more than one. That's an interesting way to do it. Entertainment for me. Oh yeah, this is a good one. So, Mrs. B and I are constantly, on the hunt for new TV shows to watch because the way things work in 2026 is you find a show, you binge it, it's over, you find something else. And so there's a really good show that we like. At least we think it's good. It's called Shrinking, or some something to that effect, but it's about shrinking. But it's more using the colloquial phrase for a psychologist or a psychiatrist, to shrink. And it's a story about a psychologist or a therapy kind of practice. And Harrison Ford's in it, and some other prominent actors and actresses, and it's really funny. And for me, if I can stay awake at 9 o'clock when we sit down finally to watch a show, that says something. And so, my wife's hit like, you wake, and I'm like, yeah, I'm awake on this one. And I mean, the truth is, there's some good shows that I don't stay awake during, and it's just I'm tired. I mean, it's just, being a news guy is a busy business. Not that other businesses
Right.
aren't, but it's sort of weird. Like, I try to describe it to folks like, oh, you're working 70, 80 hours a week. No, I might be working 50 or 60, but it's sort of spread out. Like, I'll do a podcast with you at 8 in the morning, then I'll get ready for work. I won't be working until about 10, but then I work till 6 while everybody else is eating dinner, because the 6 o'clock news, like tonight, I'll be on, in all likelihood, on the 6 o'clock news. You never know. But we have a plan to be on tonight. But if there's breaking news, we won't be. So, speaking of news, I should probably get to that, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So it's Tuesday News Day, Rome. My friend, we got a lot of news today. Honestly, it's pretty hard news in terms of, when we say hard news, it's more serious stuff. It's not the fluffier stuff that we do and we enjoy doing, but everything's about balance. And this is a true Tuesday News Day, Rome. So, a body was recovered after a house explosion in Bloomfield. It resulted in a fire. This was on Banbury Lane, not Danbury, but Banbury with a B. This was on Monday night, the 9th of March. The fire marshal says they recovered a body this morning. The identity of the body is not going to be released for a while. When officers arrived, this was at like 6 o'clock at night. They found this house fully in flames. You'll see a lot of photos and videos on NBCConnecticut.com. Can't miss it. It's very sad. According to the police, the fire department was able to extinguish the fire, but the house sustained devastating damage. From what we know in early reports, that this was either a propane or more likely a natural gas fire or explosion. These things happen. I don't mean that in a like I'm glancing this off, but certainly there are incidents where this happens. And as a reporter, as soon as this happened, I'm turning on my police scanner, my fire scanner, whatever, just to try to listen to what the first responders are saying. Because frankly, I don't know if you remember, it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago in Lawrence, Massachusetts, they had a whole street that went up. And so, I was thinking at the time, as I'm listening to this, let's pray that this is not something that extends. And thankfully it didn't. But I was ready to come into work if it did, because that's, one building, okay. But if we've got a whole block going up. And I know that when this was going on, I was listening to the police scanner and talking to our newsroom quite a bit, because I had a number of sources calling me about this. It was one of those situations where you just didn't know what you had until you got out there, and it's a little tense, because the fire was still going, even though the explosion was over, and they still actually had a natural gas leak for a while. The crews from Eversource, I understand it was Eversource, I've got to confirm that, but they got in there pretty quickly and were able to shut things down. But certainly a tense situation. Do you have natural gas heat or oil?
Oil.
Oil also. I'm not saying do one or the other. Um, we had our oil hassles. The oil guy just showed up today for us, and we were all the way at the bottom of the tank. And that's not good, because a lot of people will tell you that if you use that oil on the bottom of the tank, it can be a little sludgy and it can gunk up your oil line. So don't want that. How's your oil looking, Rome? Are you full? Are you checking it? I check mine like all the time in the winter.
Should be full. Pretty good. Nice and hot in here.
Nice. I'll give you the bad news though, or I'll tell you, conserve that. Hope that next time you fill up, the prices are down. I'm in a co-op, so that means, they buy larger contracts, futures contracts, and even with that, the average price I'm able to get is 4.49 per gallon. That's $1 more. That, excuse me, that 4.49 per gallon right now for heating oil, and that's in a co-op. It's called Citizens Oil Co-op. They're out of West Hartford, and if you're on the open market right now for cash, brutal. And one of the other things is that, usually you can't say, well, I don't want to fill up. Well, I only want, enough gallons to get me through the rest of the winter. You got to usually fill up like 100 gallons. So big bucks, Rome, big bucks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. My advice, try to save however you can. Um, our house, honestly, we keep the heat at night no higher than 60. Um, and we're talking about putting it down to 55. And I mean, you're sleeping, you know, you're under blankets. I woke up sweating this morning. So, um, do what you can to cut back. The prices are not going down anytime soon, unfortunately. I got other utility news. Can you believe this, Rome? First we're talking about oil and explosions. Now we're talking, let's get out of central Connecticut. Let's go down to the shoreline. Have you heard about this old abandoned power plant called English Station?
That sounds familiar.
If you drive by it, you will recognize and remember it. I believe it's on the Merritt Parkway. I think it's the Merritt or 95, and it's really ugly. And it's been there for like 20 plus years, not serving as a functioning power plant. And there was an agreement with state regulators and United Illuminating that owns the property to fix it up, and then they didn't. And then the regulators put a huge penalty on them. Well, now they've lifted that penalty. So cleanup may take longer after the state regulators removed financial penalties on United Illuminating. The decision came as the city is actually still gathering input from people on what to do with this property. And what they want to do is rehabilitate it and make it into some kind of public park or recreational space. And these things work. I can tell you again, in this same podcast, talking about coming from New Jersey, um, I've played soccer on rehabilitated fields that used to be Superfund sites and things like that. And they're fine, uh, they clean them up, they monitor them. And so there is something that you could do with English Station. It's on the Mill River in New Haven's Fairhaven neighborhood. I think that's like exit 7 on 91 going southbound. This thing has sat vacant for decades, and it is going to require some environmental remediation before they can clean this thing up. So the long process continues there. They think, though, that Rome actually lifting those financial fines may make it easier to go forward. Fingers crossed for those folks down there, because I'll tell you, I've driven by that thing. Can't remember which highway it's on, but it's quite an eyesore. So I get it. Now you lived in New Britain for a while, right? So you've seen a lot of these abandoned uh, sites, and also some of the ones that have been rehabilitated. Why don't you tell folks about that experience a little?
Yeah, they're all over. They look real messy, or they're like abandoned, but once they fix them up, do a really good job.
Yeah, like in New Britain, if I remember, haven't they taken some of the Stanley properties and made them into stuff?
Oh yeah, like the parks, they added a lot more to the parks. They redid them, added like bridges and stuff, made like
Yes,
trails to like the other park to connect them to.
that's great. And I know I've seen some of the old Stanley factories, I think, made into office space or even residential.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I know if you ever get to Meriden, Connecticut, have you seen their downtown since they redid it?
I haven't been to Meriden in a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool. They took this whole area that I don't even remember what it was, and I used to drive through it all the time, but it wasn't super desirable in terms of aesthetics. And now they've made it into this beautiful walkable park. And I mean, it's an area that floods a little, so it's a good area to be a park because you really can't use it for anything else. But you can rehabilitate these properties, whether it's something in downtown Meriden or something like English Station. And then more violence news. My gosh, Rome, I can't get away from this. It's just been a rough stretch. I don't have the totals for Hartford yet, but just in the overnight since Monday, uh, another person was shot in Hartford. It was on, this is Monday night or Tuesday morning, Allen Place, which, let me see, Allen Place, that I think, I can't tell you which neighborhood that is in Hartford, but this comes on the heels of that other shooting. Now that shooting was two individuals. There's other news also in the Hartford police involved shooting. Remember that one, Rome, from a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
In that,
Sad story.
what's that?
Sad story.
Yeah, just to remind your listeners, this is one where a 55-year-old man was having a mental health episode. This was 2 Fridays ago, and his family called police. He had a knife, and officers had him surrounded, but he kept coming at the officers, not lunging, but walking. People have seen the videos; they're all over the internet. And at some point, one of the officers, who is now on administrative leave, said, "Stop coming toward me or I'm going to shoot." And he just kept coming toward him, walking very slowly. This, as I understand, and we'll have to get all of this later when we get the full investigative report, but I've heard this is a 400-pound man with bad knees. But be that as it may, he continuously did not follow the order of the officers, which was to stop advancing, put down the knife. And so they shot and they killed him. His estate is now being represented by a prominent civil rights attorney, a guy named Benjamin Crump, you may have heard of. Uh, and so we'll have to see where this case goes. Very difficult case. There were questions about tasers and their use or their availability. And I'm not going to get into all that because, there's 7 different versions of that story. But that is certainly one to keep an eye on. And we'll be following up on all these stories on NBC Connecticut.
Sad story.
Yeah.
Too much violence going on.
There is. Love your family, love your neighbor. Stop this, please. It's too much.
Absolutely. That's all the updates. I got one more thing.
Okay, let's see what you got. Maybe it's something happier now. I'm ending things.
So I know you're aware of these new AI cameras.
Huh?
They're getting more and more, but you got to be careful driving because it's not just tracking like speed. It's tracking like if you're on your phone, if your hands are not on the wheels the right way, no seatbelt. So got to be careful.
Send me that article. I'd love to see that. That might be worth a follow-up.
Okay, I got that from Apple News.
Okay, yeah, send that to me. I mean, have you heard anybody getting caught in Connecticut with this, or this is more a national story?
More national.
Okay. Let me take a look at it. We look at everything in NBC Connecticut Investigates. And of course, I urge all your listeners and viewers to please reach out to us with any kind of tip you may have. We check them out. We don't do every story, but we'll certainly take a look.
All right. Great show. See you next week.
All right. Sounds good, Rome. Be well, my friend.
All right. You too. Take care.
Take care.
And that is it for Newsday Tuesday. It's your boy Go Rome TV, the host and the producer of the Rome Show podcast. And this is News Updates with my friend Len Besthoff from NBC Connecticut. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, like if you want us to cover a story, a topic, something that you want us to look into. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Your boy Go Rome, and I'm out. Stay safe. Peace.